So in this program, basically, we just declared employee IDs, okay, as an array of 10 values. Now we are accepting the values. Accept 10 values at runtime. Okay, we want to accept the values at runtime. So if you want to accept 10 values at runtime, what you can do is, because you want to do repetitive tasks, you want to do repetitively uh, task, right? So this is basically, it's not accept. Let me delete this one, the accept. So this particular thing is just to print before accept values, print before accepting values. Okay, because it is an empty array, right? Empty means there will be all zeros initially. Till this point, we are just saying that there is size 10 array and just print whatever is there in the array. So it will automatically have, because you're starting from 0 going till the 9, here you will repeat this statement. You're going to repeat this statement 10 times, 0 to 9. So first time it will print employee ID 0 because the Q value is 0, then Q will become 1, then it will print EMP ID is 1. Okay, in that way it will print. So obviously this is going to print me all zeros. Why? Because by default the value will be 0 in all those places. Now what we are doing is we'll accept those 10 values at the runtime. So what you can say to the user, hey, enter employee IDs. This scanner part is to declare one scanner object which will have capabilities to get the value at the runtime using some of the functions, and one of the functions is next int. So when you say next int, it will capture the value which will provide at the runtime as an integer, and it will place it to EMP ID positions. Okay. So what we are doing systematically here again, that we will start the loop from 0 to, will go till 9. First value will go to EMP ID 0, then second value will go to EMP ID 1, 2, 3, and so on. This is like accepting it. And once you have accepted it, then you want to print all EMP IDs. Okay. So you want to print it also. That's it. So at the time of print, again, there is repetitive task. One way is I'll print system.out.println EMP ID 0, EMP ID 1, EMP ID 2, EMP ID 3. So instead of writing 10 times, I can again use for loop. So for loop is very, what do we say, useful when you want to do something repetitively, right? See, this is the variable which is changing, right? When the name itself is like variable, when we say it's changing, all other things are constant. System.out.println EMP ID, you want to print 0, then 1, then 2, then 3. That's why you can use for loop. Okay. If I will run this program, see here, it is printing uh, some spelling mistake. I want to print before accepting values. So it is printing 10 zeros. Now it is asking enter employee IDs. So I'll enter. Let's say I'll enter 23, 24, 25. Anything randomly you can also give. It's not like you have to give in sequence. Let's say 4, 90. The thing is you have to provide 10 values. Once you give it, so you have given it, and then I actually want to see whether this is stored in array or not, right? So now we are printing it. Once the 10th value is done, if you hit the enter, after that, because of line number 29 to 32, it will print all the values which you have given. Okay, that's it. I'll go back and that's it about arrays part. Let's see about uh, two-dimensional array. Let me check. I have examples for that. Yes. What is two-dimensional array? First of all, what is two-dimensional array? The two-dimensional array is where you can put the values in rows and columns, something like in Excel sheet or in the tabular format where you have, number of rows, number of columns. Okay. So let's assume you want to have 3 rows and 4 columns, and you want to put the values. Okay. So let's assume that you want to have the values like in 3 rows and 4 columns. So how to do that programmatically? So for example, I want to put, let's say, these values 2369, 2369, and in the next line, if I want to put 51 minus 210, 51 minus 2, and then 10, and in the next row, I want to put 22, 13, 111, 22, 13, 111. In Excel sheet, you do in this way. If you observe here, it's the row number 5, row number 6, row number 7, correct? So I am putting it here, but basically, just a minute, Control X, it should be here. Yeah. So row 1, row 2, row 3, column A, column B, column C, column D. In Excel sheet, it's like this. But in programming, it's like this is row 0, this is row 1, this is row 2. Let's understand that when you are working with the arrays, index start with 0. This will be called column 0. This will be called column 1. This will be column 2. And this will be column 3. Okay, simple one. So if I want to declare this kind of array where I have 3 rows and 4 columns, how I will declare that we have to understand first. How I can declare the array which has a particular size. So I'll say in teacher, you can give any name. X 2 times bracket is equals to new int. In the bracket, you have to say how many rows. So row wise, I want 3 rows. And how many columns? I want 4 columns. So this will reserve 3 by 4 place. Okay. So it will actually reserve, these many boxes in the background. Okay. 3 by 4 means 12 boxes. So here, when I'm saying I want an array X, which will have 3 rows, 4 columns, so it will basically reserve this much memory. Okay, fine. This is the way to declare it. Another way is, so when you declare it like this, there is no values. You are just declaring it. Okay, you have not initialized the values. But this is another way. If you want to hard code it, you can write it like this. What we are doing here, we are saying that integer u bracket 2 times bracket because you are making two-dimensional array, and then opening curly bracket, closing curly bracket. Again, there will be curly bracket to represent each row. Okay, so this is row 1, this is row 2, and this is row 3. Simple. So here at line number 17, okay, let me uncomment line number 15. So at line number 15, if I want to print u of 1, 2, so what it will print? U of 1, 2 means going to the index 1 in the row and going to the index number 2 in the columns. Simple. So here, rowing to the row which is index 1, this is index 0, this is index 1, index 1. Okay, here, you are here, but then it's a cross sectioning. Then column 2. So this is, so you are in this row. So let me highlight this. You are in this row. Okay. But then I want to go to column 2. The column 2 will be, this is 0th column. This is first column. This is index wise. This is second column. So here again, if I make it yellow, the cross section is this, right? This particular value. I'll make it bold. So this particular value is basically, what was the array name here? U, right? So this particular thing is U12. This is U of 1 and 2. 1 is the array position, array index for the row. 2 is for the column. I hope this is very clear. If you have learned about what we say matrices in your mathematics, probably in standard 11th or 12th or in engineering, you'll be able to understand what I'm saying. It's same as matrices, right? Where you have a number of rows and columns, and there is position. Okay, how it works. Fine. Okay. Now I can overwrite also. So if I want to change a value at particular position, I can say U13 is 29. So I want to change a particular value. So 13, what will be the 13? 13 will be this 0th index row, first index row. Okay, so this one is the first. 3 means 0, 1, 2, 3. This one. So I want to change it to 29. Let's say. So you can override it. You can say, okay, this is this. If you want to print all these values, one way of doing it, like this. You are printing all these values. Fine. You are printing all the values. You are saying U00, U01, U02, U03. Okay, that's why you are doing it first four line, because you want to print from the 0th row, but then from 0th column to third column. It's like this. Same thing is repeating after 22nd line to print the next row and then again the next row. Okay, done. But then this is a difficult way, right? A lot of things you have to write. Instead of this, you can print the same thing using 2 times for loop. Why we need 2 times for loop? Because at once I want to parse the rows. because there are three rows. So I will go from 0 to 2, and then there are four columns. So I'll go from 0 to 3, and I'll say I want to print U of Mn. Okay. I'm not, I don't want to go through this in detail because, understand it that when you will dry run this, you will dry run this means you will understand that how for loop will work. We have talked about this in last session probably, that it will start with 0, it will go till 2, means these things are going to be repeated 3 times. These things are going to happen 3 times. Then n will become 0, n is less than 4, less than 3. That means this thing is going to be repeated 4 times, 0 to 3. Now, when you are here, m value is initially 0. Now you are here, so n value will be 0 to 3. Okay, and m is what? Constant when you are here. So if you will, properly, when you will do debugging, right? You put a breakpoint and then check how m and n is changing. You'll be able to understand how this is working. Okay, that's it. So here what we learned about is declaring a two-dimensional array, then printing it in one way, printing it in another way. This is better. So if I run this program, it is printing me this array and this one, two-dimensional array. What is \t here? It's tab. Okay, it is tab, means you want to keep um, number of characters separation. I think 5 characters. Check it what tab does. If you will just Google about when you put tab, is it 8 characters or 5 characters? See that. Okay, fine. I'll give you this program. You can work at your end also.